before is most likely what we saw in that
Look at that shitty ass explanation, God.
Crazy alert, aliens after Atlantis? Official video from the latest NASA space shuttle mission appears to show what might be UFOs in space. A segment from the live NASA feed shows the cargo bay of the space shuttle Atlantis and what appears to be 3 flying objects directly above the shuttle. The objects are in motion in a triangular formation. How we often imagine UFOs might move. The narrator of the live feed tries to explain the objects away with a less than convincing story. Take a listen.
This is Mission Control Houston with Atlantis Commander Brett Jett talking with astronaut Terry Burtz here in Mission Control about an object the crew members noted outside the windows of the space shuttle Atlantis. Jett describing it as some kind of reflective or metallic looking cloth, but definitely not a rigid or metal object.
Yeah, right. There just happen to be 3 identical pieces of massive metallic cloth moving around in a constant formation in space. So in one of the most convincing UFO videos yet, it appears more likely than ever that we might have company in our universe.
Gary McKinnon has been a prolific figure in the hacking world since 2002, when he committed the biggest military server security break-in in history. In 2003, he became subject to bail conditions, including a requirement to sign in at his local police station every evening, and to remain at his home address every night. If extradited to the U.S. and charged, McKinnon would have to face up to 70 years in prison.
70 years.
Here's your list of charges. You hacked into the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Department of Defense, and NASA, amongst other things. Why?
I was in search of suppressed technology.
I'm here with Gary McKinnon, and we're here to talk about his possible extradition to the United States for some hacking that he's done, and some investigation he's also done on the part of UFOs and disclosure. Maybe you could explain exactly what you're in for, or up for, I guess might be a better word.
Apparently it's 7 counts of intentional malicious damage and unauthorized access, each count carrying 10 years maximum each.
Exactly what were you looking for when you were doing this?
At first I was looking for anything to do with UFOs. As I got more into the subject and listened to more serious talk and discussion about the subject, and was introduced to the Disclosure Project, and realised there were 400 witness testimonials from people that had worked from everything in civilian air traffic control up to military radar operators, right up to men and women in charge of whether or not to launch nuclear missiles. I thought, these are surely incredible people. I was doing this every night, all night, practically for 2 years. Not really looking after myself very much. So data things were a bit mangled. It wasn't even really a hack to get into it. It was just large-scale phishing, blank passwords. The administrator account, a lot of the time on a corporate network or a large organisation like the Army or the NASA, isn't actually used. There isn't an administrator. But it's a built-in account, so you can't delete it. You can rename it. But that's for, say, if someone wanted to do something system-wide across the whole network, they would use that account to log in remotely, because that gives you full control over the machine. Well, obviously they must have IT staff that look after things.
Right, and didn't you encounter one such person, or was he an IT guy that on the other end?
Yeah, he was a network engineer. Because I had graphical remote control of the machines, literally like sitting on the chair opposite the screen, opposite the monitor. I think I must have got the time zone wrong when he was working late hours or whatever, but he obviously saw the mouse moving across the screen. And next thing I know, WordPad flashes up, and someone types, "Who are you?" And I panicked, didn't want to get caught. I thought very quickly on my feet and turned around my own investigations into an explanation to answer him. And I said, "I'm from NIPNet Security," which is the non-classified internet protocol router network. And I've discovered some unauthorized scanning coming from this machine. I need to investigate it. And he immediately, as a good boy of mine, human nature, tried to impress me with his knowledge and showed me this, did a virus scan, pretty much showed me that the machine was clean.
Wow.
And then moved along.
So what did you find out?
But the UFO thing, as far as I'm concerned, it may sound circumstantial to some, but as far as I'm concerned, it's proven. As part of the Disclosure Project, there was Donna Hare, and as a photographic scientist, who had up to secret clearance, was in Building 8 of Johnson Space Center, she says in the testimony, and that one of her colleagues was doing some photographic work, invited her over to look at it, and she saw high-res satellite imagery, maybe half a K above the treetops. I think it was like a white disc, and she at first thought, oh, it's a block in the emulsion, some kind of fault with the photographic process. And he said, well, look, blobs in the emulsion don't have perfectly formed shadows going in the same direction as the trees, etc., all the details there. And she basically was saying that they had this whole place in Building 8 for airbrushing out UFOs on a regular basis, because they then, sell on their imagery to universities and whatnot. And having been all over other NASA installations already, I assumed the blank password scanning method would work the same in Johnson Space Center, and it did. Once I was in there, I used various network commands to strip out the machines that were in Building 8 and got onto those. And the very first one I was on literally has what she said. I can't remember if it was filtered and raw, processed and unprocessed, but there's definitely folders whereby there was a transformation of the data taking place between one and the other. These folders were full of images in a proprietary NASA format, or in a format I'd never seen before, no JPEGs or GIFs. They're also 200 to 300 megabytes in size, and being on a 56K dial-up modem, there's no way I was going to download it. It's like 5 minutes per megabyte. So what I did, the remote control program that gives you graphical control of the machine, turned the resolution right down, turned it down to I think 4-bit color. And then on the desktop of the NASA machine, navigated to the folder, double-clicked on the first image. The application launches, the image comes up on the screen, but it's still very, very slow. And what I saw, I was hoping to see exactly what she was describing, saucers and very definite imagery. And what instead I saw was, I assume was the Earth. This was in sort of shades of grey, but you had the Earth's hemisphere, through about 2/3 of the screen, and then halfway between the top of the hemisphere and the bottom of the picture, there was a classic sort of cigar-shaped object, but with the sort of golf ball domes, geodesic domes, above, below, and this side, and I assume the other side as well, so it's the left and right as well. And with very slightly flattened cigar ends. No seams, no rivets, no sort of telemetry or antennae. When this photograph was about 3/4 of the way down on the screen, and you see the mouse move, you right-clicks the local area network connection icon, chooses disconnect, bash, that's me. And that's why it was such a strange moment. It was triumphant in a way. I thought I completely corroborated what Donna Hare had said.
On October 16th, 2012, then Home Secretary Theresa May announced to the House of Commons that the extradition had been blocked, saying that Mr. McKinnon is accused of serious crimes. However, McKinnon happens to suffer from Asperger's syndrome, as well as other depressive illnesses. Because of this, the decision to extradite was considered incompatible with his basic human rights. This case highlights a potential truth embargo and the lengths that major governments might go to protect secrets.
Visual spectrum UFOs.
And again, once again, I know cameras have gotten so much better that it's very possible they're able to see these things in the color spectrums.
There you go. Damn. Look, it got open. Left. Check it out. Stop and double. That's Italian astronaut scream. Look how many. Whoa, look how many they are. Check it out. Whoa. Whoa. I've never seen this footage. It's a good one. Oh. Oh, I'm gonna freeze it with a computer.
After exploring potential hard evidence for UFOs in outer space, what about all the sightings that have occurred on land?
Oh, they perform crazy ass maneuvers. Check it out, man. Crispy. Unintentional ufologists.
Tell me about the first time you noticed something strange in the sky above Dunedoo.
Well, I came out here in late
Australia.
2012, in August, and pretty much the second night that I was staying here, I noticed a strange ball of light moving across the house in the backyard, the property behind us, and it was moving very slow over the rooftops, and it was actually illuminating the rooftops underneath it as it was moving. This thing is phenomenal. You know, it was just highly unusual, and this was around 11 p.m. in the evening. And in this town here, there's not many people are up at night. There's not many street lights. The town it prides itself on being one of the astronomy capitals of Australia because of the fact they have not much light pollution like in the city. So yeah, the second night I was here, I saw a very strange, large spherical ball, which is half the size of the house, hovering above a house and then heading north, in the direction north. It was very unusual. So
That's the roof of the house.
it just continued since then, unabated, the sightings. It's been, a lot of people have seen it now. You know, up to 80 people have come up here and seen it from all around Australia, and they're just getting bigger and bigger in number, the actual eyewitnesses to what's going on.
I mean, how long do you think it's going to take till people accept that these things are real? And
accept at what level the population becomes, when it becomes a sociologically real, I don't know, when does it reach a level like that? It won't happen in Australia. Our most favourite TV show, you see the TV show started? It was a belly flop thing where people jump off the sides of a pool to see how big the splash they make in the pool. That's a TV show. If that can get air, how would this stuff get air?
can you talk a little bit about that? Because I'm very interested in the fact that people tend to absorb their time with sort of nonsensical information, right? So things that just don't really advance their thinking. You've got people that are watching belly flop shows, right? That was great that you talked about that. Tell me how you can relate that to maybe somebody who spends way too much time watching footy, a bunch of guys smashing into each other. Go ahead, talk about that.
Our problem is it's the dumbing down of society because it's cross-cultural. People don't, you're not supposed to think anymore. What's really scary to me is if you watch that morose garbage on TV and drink, special amounts of methyl alcohol and put your money in a special box where you've got very high odds of pulling it, and follow a football team throwing an inflatable bladder around and go to work and die at 62.3, having 2.4 kids, that's normal. But actually looking up into the sky and looking at things or looking at stuff from a slightly different angle is not normal. That's what really scares me, because what we're interested in is technically not normal. And as Damien told you, he almost attracted a psychiatric label for filming what he's seeing. So they're implying it was a hallucination, but he's filming it. To me, you're attracting a decent case of medication if you think I can film my hallucination.
People have been turned into stupid idiots. They cannot think about anything else but mundane crap.
This is an outlier belief system. This is insane what we're talking
And if you see something incredible, they call you crazy.
Insane is being a robot, taking your brain out and just going to work and doing and never thinking outside the box. That's how they classify sanity. Never actually, but none of us are running around like headless chooks. We're all holding down jobs and mortgages and blah, blah, blah. So we're not completely flipping nuts. But our belief system is nutty enough to actually look up into the sky, and Damien's making it even more dangerous because he's filming something that's not supposed to exist.
One of the most controversial events that has taken place was a massive daylight sighting that happened in Australia.
With the Westall incident, just tell us about what happened and why it's important to the world.
The Westall incident is an absolutely fascinating flying saucer incident. It's probably the largest mass witness